Prior to discovering modern board gaming, my gaming life consisted largely of two things: Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering. After I started to get into board gaming, every once in a while I have an itch to play Magic, to go to a draft tournament or to go to a sealed tournament. I'm not much of a constructed player. And then somebody mentioned this game to me. It mocks card games in a loving way and simulates some of the goings-on of tournaments. Today, we're going to be playing Millennium Blades by Brad Talton and published by Level 99 Games. Setup for Millennium Blades is somewhat extensive. First, you need to make a collection of money as well as level up tokens. Then you need to place the aftermarket board and the store area onto the table. On the aftermarket board, you need to place your weekly type meta deck and your weekly element meta deck. And on the store board, you need to select 3 promo packs, each corresponding to 9 fusion cards, 7 fusion cards, and 5 fusion cards, and place them in the appropriate areas. Then each player will select a character to be, collect that character's card, 2-sided, as well as the friendship cards associated with that character. They will select a starting deck and take the associated deck, placing it in front of them, as well as select a color to represent them on the game, collecting the cell tokens and the point cubes and placing them in front of them. They can go ahead and set the cell tokens and point cubes off to the side for now. The starting deck represents the player's beginning collection, as well as a few other cards that they'll receive. You're going to make a very, very large deck of cards to represent the cards available to the players throughout the course of the game. In order to do this, you will start with the core set, which is a large stack of cards in and of itself, adding to it 5 of the level 4 sets, each with a number of cards as well, and humorous names if you read them, such as Super Plumber Brothers. You'll add 4 level 5, or cost 5 sets, cards Magica, the Mouse card, cards from the Crypt, and Underlords of Metropolitan. And you will add 3 sets of cards that cost 6. Such as Millennium Masters, Fantasy Finale, and Vex, Cards of Hate. You will shuffle these into one large stack and place it at the top of the store deck. Once you have placed the very tall deck of store cards onto the store board and placed 9 cards below it in a square representing the available cards for purchase at the store, you're ready to begin the game. Now, at the very beginning of the game, players have their starting pre-con deck. This deck will be used in the pre-release of the tournament and is set up as a legal and appropriate deck. In the deck, you'll have a variety of creature cards with star values, element, type, and rarity, as well as in a very small area underneath the star what set they belong to, as well as abilities. A play ability says gain 9 victory points for the tournament. Action, you can flip an adjacent card from face up to face down, which would lose any of its abilities, in order to gain 7 tournament points. You also have a deck box. The deck box has a score ability, which is gain 8 tournament points for each fire card in your tableau that you'll play over the course of the tournament. And you will also have some accessories, for example, deck protectors, which have a reaction ability that you can play in response to another player's actions. Your accessories and your deck box start face up in front of you. The rest of the cards remain in your hand. The player who has opened a booster pack most recently is the first to take a turn after placing the point trackers all on the 0 points of the scale. Once those have been taken place, you choose a card and play it onto your tableau. So in this case, we will play this card, which gives us 18 tournament points when it is played, but loses 20 points if it's still face up at the score phase. We play her and gain our 18 points. And then play proceeds clockwise. Another player will play their card, then we will get a chance to play a card, and we will choose to play Malcolm Footman. We'll play him here. It says play, gain 9 points, so we will gain our 9 points. He also has an action, and his action says flip another adjacent card and gain 7 victory points. In order to activate an action, you must flip the card that the action is coming from, and then in this response, he flips this card, and for flipping, according to the action that was played, we gain 7 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Play continues like this until every player has filled up their tableau. At the end of the tournament, a number of victory points, permanent victory points for the game itself, are awarded based on position. Now, that is the tournament phase. Then we proceed to a deck building phase. In the deck building phase, the players will flip their boards from the tournament side to the deck building side, placing any cards that they have into their binder. There are 3 areas on the deck building card side of the card, as well as an explanation of many of the game's rules. There is the binder, which is where all unused cards go. There is the deck area, which is where at the end of the deck building phase, you will place the deck that you're going to take to the next tournament. And there is the collection area. A collection is a set of cards with different numeric values that either share an element, such as fire, wind, water, or that share a type, such as animal, citizen, soldier, or mystical creature. They all have to be of different numbers. They don't have to be ascending by 1. And there are victory points listed across the bottom of this board that tell you how many points you score for collecting that many cards. The catch is that once you've put a card into your collection, at the end of the deck building phase, it goes to a discard pile and is removed from the game. Now, at the beginning of the deck building phase, you get a little bit of a present. 6 cards are taken from the top of the store deck and dealt to each player. Those are added to that player's collection, as well as receiving $30. Those are also added to that player's collection, and the deck building phase begins. Now, during the deck building phase, there are many things that you'll be doing at the exact same time as all of the other players. You will be building a deck which has to be of legal size, meaning 8 single cards, 1 deck box, and 2 accessories. You'll be building a collection off to the side. You'll also be trying to purchase packs in order to get better cards and make those decks. So in order to purchase a pack, there are 10 available packs on the deck area right here. There are the 9 that are face down in this row and the one that is on top of the deck. To purchase a pack, you need to pay in dollars the amount that are on the upper right-hand side of the card. So for example, I could pay $5 to the bank and purchase this card because its upper right-hand corner says 5, and add it to my collection. It is a box head, star value of 4, shadow, soldier, and it has a play ability as well as a top ability, meaning that as long as this card is the card furthest to the right of my tableau, this effect is in play. It would be added to my collection in order to build a deck or a collection out of. Now, you start with a great collection in and of itself because you can say, well, I have a 1-star that's fire, a 2-star that's fire, a 3-star that's fire, a 4-star that's fire, and a 5-star that's fire. Now, bear in mind that these will no longer be part of your deck, but you can place these off to the side and earn 12 total victory points off of that as well. Now, let's say you start to run low on money and there are some cards like maybe this Chuckules that you do not need. You can sell this Chuckules for its star value in dollars by taking it and placing it on the aftermarket board with your sell token on top of it. Once you do that, you take the appropriate amount of money from the bank and place it in front of you. If another player decides that they want a card that you have sold, they can pay the appropriate number of stars back to the bank and take that card, giving you back your sell token and allowing you to sell another card. You can never sell more cards in a single deck building phase than there are sell tokens available to you. However, if players continue to buy your cards, you can continue to sell them. There are timers that are set. You receive your 6 cards as a bonus in the deck building phase. Then there is a 7-minute timer. And you go through and you're building your collection, your deck, and building up your binder. Then the 7-minute timer stops. You place all of your cards down on the table. You receive 6 more cards, and you continue for another 7 minutes. After that 7 minutes is up, you have 6 minutes remaining, but you can no longer sell cards at that point. You can purchase them, but you cannot sell them. And then you move to another tournament phase, scoring your collection, flipping your board over, and moving to the tournament phase. Now, before the first deck building phase, the weekly type meta is revealed. And as we know, playing card games, there's always something that's in vogue and more powerful than everything else. So in this case, for this tournament phase, mages would be the most powerful. If you have a mage in your area, you get 15 extra tournament points. After the first 7-minute timer is up, the type meta, dark is the most powerful. If you have a dark card in your tableau at the end of the tournament phase, you get 15 extra points as well. The only other cards of note are the cards at the bottom of the cell area. These cards are fusion cards. They are significantly more powerful than normal cards, but they will cost you cards in order to get. You can discard a number of cards equal to their cost. In this case, I could discard 5 cards to get something from the Elemental Blades deck, sending them to a permanent discard pile and collecting one of those cards. In this case, I collected the Celestial Blade Zedaxis, which is a unique card for my deck that I could either play, or I could sell, or I could add to a collection, or leave in my binder. I can also trade this card with an opponent. To trade a card, you and your opponent can look through each other's binders and find cards of matching star values. If they don't match in star values, that's okay. Somebody just has to make up the difference in money. And if one card is particularly more useful to one player than the other card is, you can add a friendship card, which adds 1 victory point at the end of the game for each friendship card that you have collected from another player. Yours don't count. Play continues like this until there have been 3 tournaments that have been played, each with a specified point value for winning the tournament. At the end of the game, points are calculated up, and we find out who is the world champion at Millennium Blades. Alrighty, folks, here we are with Millennium Blades here. All set up. Let me tell you, it's a little bit of a process. We're going to enter our first deck building phase. We've received our free extra cards, and here goes the 7-minute timer. Alright.
It might be good, I just have no idea how to do it.
And then I think the rule is the player who most recently opened a booster pack, which is not me.
I'm gonna say it's me.
I was gonna say, I think I opened Yu-Gi-Oh packs, but not. Decided who
Look at the player's hand. What does it say after that?
just says,
Oh.
it's such a harsh word, you know? No, I'm fixing to cheat my balls off, guys. One of you is gonna have a bad case of Krylons.
Alright,
Where you get one card play and one action.
yep. I'm going to play Master Mitsubishi.
Oh my god! I thought you were thinking with me.
Nope. He has an ongoing effect. Players must choose to clash with you if possible.
Okay.
So, like, whenever you take an action to clash, it has to be targeting you, right?
Yep. Every time.
Yes.
Okay.
I forget
Any
what
actions?
it is, but
You compare the top number compared to with the stars from the random card.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. No
Okay.
actions.
Kirk, I'm gonna use my X-ray glasses to look at your hand. For 8 points. Because reasons.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb deck box you got there. I'm going to play Blizzard Angst, not to be confused with Cloud Strife. It has the same haircut.
I want to make it deep.
You get 6 points for every empty slot in the tableau, so 30 points. And then as my action, I will use the commemorative resin statuette, which is attached to a card in your tableau. That card can't be flipped and has +2 stars, or cannot be affected by other players and has +2 stars.
Cool.
So.
I'm going to play Iron Black Golem. Well, I gain 8 points. And then I gain 4 for every different element among cards on my table. So 12. So
20.
8, 20.
We'll have to score.
Very true, very true, very true.
So 8.
So
I still get 8.
Yeah. So it can even be even more.
10.
I just helped my foe.
That's what you should do.
I hate my life.
At friends' home, kids.
All while drinking and driving and playing Pokemon Go.
Alright. I'm gonna play Birdkeeper Acacia, or Erika. I don't know why I said Acacia. And her play effect is I gain 5 points for every different type among cards in my tableau to a max of 20. So I have Citizen, Myth, Animal, so 3 different types. So I gain 15 points.
Yep. Any actions?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I'm going to flip the table. Each player with more points than me must flip 2 cards or lose 20 points.
How many points do you have?
I just hit 65. Trust me, you got one.
I'll lose 20 points.
still hate this deck.
I hate this deck that won.
I still hate it. I do not like this deck.
So Steven gets 21 points, Dakota gets 15 off that, and I get 12. Alrighty. So we head back to a deck building phase.
208.
Folks, here we are with Millennium Blades. Frantic, hectic, tiring game. Steven, what do you think?
I love this game. This is honestly one
because
of
you're the supreme overlord of it.
like, I really do love this game. I love the franticness of, like, you know, buying the cards, you know, building up the collections and, like, the different metas before each tournament. My only complaint about the game is that
yes,
is that the money doesn't come pre.
What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
Somebody in your group has to take little pieces of paper and the sticker and wrap the sticker around the dollar bills.
That was you? I thought it just came all perfect.
I know, yeah. So
All this time I've been
Yeah.
taking it for granted, throwing it and tearing it apart. And whatever
Yeah,
else
but
I do.
but basically setup and cleanup are my only
oh yeah.
big problems with it. But other than that, I just love that each character has different abilities that if you remember to use them can really help you out. I still think my favorite character is the screw the rules, I have money guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this game. I give it a 5 out of 5. It's great.
Okay, so having played card games my whole life,
Yeah.
and this is literally it's a simulator of like a year in a game of like a year in a span of card games. Like Magic has its sets, it's got its metas.
Yeah.
And having actually played Magic with you two pretty competitively for a good minute, we like this game really hits home for me on that level. I am awful at it. I am the worst Millennium Blades player that there ever was and probably ever will be. But it's a lot of fun, and if you play it like, especially with like a group of people that you've played card games with, or just like you know each other's quirks and various play styles and their typical approaches to stuff, you're gonna have a really good time playing Millennium Blades. I'm terrible at it, but I'll give it a 6 out of 6.
Yeah. All right. So we'll start with my cons and move to my pros. Cons: setup and teardown is a monster with this game. If you've got people that are willing to help you and oh, shut up. People that are willing to help you and get it done efficiently, it's still more than a normal board game is. There's a lot of sorting involved after the game is over.
And when you're setting up, you have to pick the packs.
Yeah. So, but my other one is that it is a sizable game. If you're going to sit down and play this, you're going to sit down and play this for at least 2 hours. It's marked 2 hours on the box, pushes 230 very easily.
It does not feel like it. Like once you start
it
playing,
flies.
you are going. Like there's no downtime.
Yeah.
Oh.
Definitely. It flies, but it's going to take some time. So if you've got other commitments that day, don't.
How you don't?
So, but it flies. It's a blast. My last one is it's the same thing I get, and I think that's part of the reason I like it so much. It's the same thing I get sitting at a Magic the Gathering tournament. You get to round 5, and you get that tired. It's like a good tired, but you kind of feel that like I'm winding down. Like, oh, thank goodness this is the last tournament, because I don't know if I've got another round in me.
I kind of felt that at the last tournament too.
And it's not a bad thing, but it definitely mimicks that feeling.
Or that horrible crippling depression you get whenever you know you're not going to win packs, and
right?
You're just there because reasons.
Yeah, because maybe, just maybe.
But probably not.
Right.
Most likely no.
But on the gameplay itself, it is an experience that you just don't get, in my experience, from any other board game. It's a timed game, but it doesn't feel like a timed game.
If anything, the clock adds to the game.
Right, there's
a lot of stuff to do.
There's player interaction. Nobody has to take a turn. You're always the active player during that deck building phase. Mm-hmm. The first time we played it, I kind of felt like the tournament phase itself was kind of like going through the motions. Okay, saying, hey, this is what I did and it works. This game, however, there were several times where there was an interaction.
Hey, Dakota, are you going to make 100 points?
Right?
No.
There were a couple of times, and there was one big moment where an interaction caused a significant change in the tournament, and so this time it didn't. Maybe this is our second play. It's a big game. We don't get to it very often.
But it every time.
But we'll find out probably more over time whether or not that's the norm, or whether or not it's more the norm for it to kind of just be going through the motions. I love this game. I think it's fantastic. I think the jokes are great. You see a new one every time you play. I'm going to give it a 4 3/4 out of 5. I just don't want to give it a 5. It's a 5. It's a 5. I'll give it a 5. 5 out of 5.
6 out of 6.
6 out of 6.
5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Millennium Blades. Buy it.
Sweeps.
Thank you for watching another episode of Board with Friends. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out our GoFundMe page linked in the video description. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope that you're never bored, but if you are, we hope that you're bored with friends.